Hello, my name is Stephen Alff and welcome back to AlffBooks, and today we are going to be looking at the books that I read in November last year. So, what books did I read last year in November? Let's get down to it. The first book I read in November was Clariel, The Lost Aversion, which is a prequel in the series The Old Kingdom by Garth Nix. I was really happy to see this author coming back to this series, which I love, and writing another book. This is probably one of the first books that I have bought on the day of the release of the book. It also shows the excitement that I had waiting for that book, and so I was really happy when I read it, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Some people have said that you kind of can guess how the endings go, where the ending's going in the book before you get there. To a certain extent, yes, but it doesn't take away from the experience of revisiting this world that you've already discovered and you're discovering more about. It goes into more detail on some things that you really want to know more about that weren't really covered that much in the 3 books that came before it. So I'm really happy about having read that book, and let's move on to the next book. The next book I read was One Mistake by Joanna Hines, and it wasn't great. It wasn't terrible, but the characters weren't extremely developed. The story itself was not the most interesting. It was still better than some of the atrocities I've read over the years, but I just would say it's an average book, and yeah, that's pretty much it. The next book I read was Kill Clock by Alan Guthrie. This book, as I mentioned last time, it's just full of curse words, and the story has no point, basically. It's just crap. I have no better description for this book. Unfortunately, I read it, and the more I got in, reading it, further I got in the book, I was just like, is there going to be anything in this that's going to be of any interest to me? Will I enjoy any of it? And the answer is no. It had nothing interesting in it. The characters seemed just plain stupid to me. So, yeah. Let's move on. So next I read manga. I read Naruto number 22 in the series, I believe, and finally got back to it. It had been a while since I read the previous ones, and I only read one. But yeah, it was fun to read. It was light-hearted compared to some of the books I've read, obviously, but it was better written than the 2 previous books, which made me happy, because it was relief, the feeling of relief. The next 4 books are all by the same author. Invasion of the Killer Robots, Out of the Fog, Coffin's Creek, The Shapeshifters. All of these are by David Orme. These 4 books are all very short. I don't know exactly how to place them in terms of what age range they're for, because, I don't know, the way they're written, I would say teenagers, slightly older. The character development, though, I'd say younger. So I really don't know where to put these books. They weren't bad. It wasn't a great month for reading, I think, in terms of quality of the books up till now. Apart from the first book that I really enjoyed, and the manga, the other 6 books weren't great. The final book I read in this month brought up the standard of the books that I read that month. It was by far the best in the month, excluding Clariel, which is really high up there as well. It's The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. This is the 2nd book in the Kingkiller Chronicles, and I absolutely loved it. It was amazing. The writing style, the characters, the whole story is so well built, and it was just so amazing to read that. It banished all those terrible books out of my mind and just took over, and it was like, it was amazing. Yeah. I like when characters are intelligent, interesting, well developed, have good inter-character relationships in terms of how they're developed and how they're realistic. And it's just, this book is just so good at that. Patrick Rothfuss is incredible in that aspect. It's just wow, I'm literally speechless. So that was the last book I read in November, and it really made me happy that was the last book, because it kind of left me on a good note for that month, which had started really well as well, so. Yeah, so let's look at some stats for the month of November. So I read 9 books in the month of November, and which brings me up to a total of 95 books for the year of 2014 by the end of November. And let's look at the number of pages. I read a total of 2,074 pages in November, which brings me to a yearly total of 22,616. I don't know how I read that much last year. I'm going to leave you now. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next week with a new video, and yeah, that's it. Bye.